And today marks the 100th day of President Donald Trump's second term in office. The milestone has become a sort of natural check-in point for presidents and the public to measure how the term is going so far. Now, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, the word bumpy feels like a fair description. Many may use stronger words for either praise or disgust, so we'll just stick with bumpy. And that term also helps illustrate one of the major headlines of these first 100 days. Tariffs. Measuring the impact of the administration's tariff strategy varies widely. Evan Watson showed you a few examples last night, but our friends at the Portland Business Journal took it a step further, and we think their coverage is worth your time. All right, here it is. Leaders in 36 counties on the economic impact of shifting federal policies. The Business Journal got in touch with business owners, elected and nonprofit leaders, and federal workers in each of the state's 36 counties, writing up a little profile on one person from each county. The goal was to try and understand the impacts to Oregonians all across the state, thanks to policy being shaped and then reshaped in Washington, D.C. Now, we wanted to know how the Business Journal chose each person from each Oregon county.
We had to do some digging and kind of some research into what are the biggest industries in different parts of the state, and really put feelers out to find people who who have businesses that are affected, or organizations, nonprofits, who are personally affected. Maybe they lost their job, or they lost a grant, or maybe their business exports or imports, and they're going to be impacted in some way by the changing tariff policies.
You'll see profiles from ranchers, wine distributors, and organizations that deal with all kinds of industries that make Oregon unique. Elizabeth Hayes, who you just heard from, focused on healthcare, especially in rural areas.
I spoke to a hospital administrator out in Grand Ronde, and Medicaid is looking at $800 billion in cuts. So that will definitely affect them and all rural hospitals. And then we have other people out in rural counties who had FEMA grants that were awarded just last year, and they were in the planning process, and now suddenly those grants have gone away.
Now, as many of you know, priorities and politics differ quite a bit from one side of Oregon to the other. But we asked Elizabeth for a theme reporters heard across the state, and it's something we've heard quite a few times in the last 100 days.
The theme, I would have to say, is sort of confusion. A lot of people don't really understand what's happening at this point, and things are changing on a daily basis. It makes it very uncertain, very hard to plan, very hard to budget, and a lot of people don't know if they are going to have to swallow some extra costs. Can they pass them along to customers? A lot of people who have lost their jobs or lost their grants are angry and confused. They don't know why. They had dedicated their careers to public service and had received glowing reviews, and then suddenly they're out of a job.
Now, if you want to read the entire article, and you should, it's up right now on the Portland Business Journal website. That's bizjournals.com/Portland.